Hey guys, it's Seth here, back again with another video this week for Silver Soul Gaming, and I wanted to talk about Control, a game that was not really advertised a lot and went under the radar, I think, for a AAA game. It's not well known, and I think people should be playing this game a lot more, because what it is, it's really good. It's one of the best games I've played this year. It's nice and refreshing, considering the games that have been released this year haven't been great. A lot of them have been mediocre. I think the last good game I really played was Sekiro, and nothing's really been up to the standard of that game lately. Especially after last year's barrage of excellent releases, and having a look back at other games as well, such as like LA Noire, which is a game I thought went under the radar of Rockstar, and having a look at other games, and this year has not proved well with those games. But Control has somehow managed to bring the year up on a high, I think. And we're going to have Borderlands 3 soon. I'm excited to play that. But let's talk about Control. Let's ignore the other games that are releasing in past games. What is it? Control is a game that was, like I said, it went under the radar. However, it's a fun third-person action-adventure shooter. It's kind of open world, but at the same time it's not. You're kind of stuck in this, you are stuck in this building. However, the building itself is like a gateway to other parts of the world in a way, sort of. And it's still a building, but it has parts that, wouldn't fit in a regular building. It's called the Oldest House. And the Oldest House is, it's a supernatural building, I would say. But anyway, this game deals with the supernatural very interestingly, and the way the story is told is very, very good. Very good? Excellent is probably a better way to put it. The story is told, from the perspective of Jesse, but the player themselves is a character in the game inside Jesse's head, in a way. There's another character that's in the game that you get to know from the start that's in the main character's head, Jesse Faden, and she references the character as you, which is, usually when she's talking to that character, she's talking to us. However, there's a lot of mystery from the beginning, straight up, and the game tells us this mystery slowly as we progress through the story, and it's interesting to, figure out and find out the backstory about what's happening and why this building slash bureau, or the bureau that resides in the building, is under attack from what the game calls the Hiss, which is the game's main antagonist. There is no actual main boss, but the Hiss themselves is like a species. There is no leader, but it's interesting, and it's a very cool world that I would like to get to know more about with future releases surrounding Remedy titles, because it's clear that Remedy want to build upon this world, the developers of Control. Remedy clearly want to build upon the world of Control, and I think with that they want to combine Control and Alan Wake and maybe other titles, because Alan Wake is in the game, kind of, I guess. He's in a certain part of the game. You don't actually see him, but there's a lot of references to him in the game. And that's interesting, because I think they're trying to make their own little RCU, if you will, the Remedy cinematic game universe thing. So that's interesting, and it's clear they want to expand on this supernatural world that they have created that's weird, quirky, and fun, and damn well interesting. The gameplay itself, I think, is fun. It's tried to be made a lot more less simplistic than it actually is, when in fact it is quite simple. Once you kind of get over the learning curve, it becomes real easy. But it never gets boring, I will say. It's constant fun. And the boss fights in the game, they're not hard, but they can be challenging if you don't know what you're doing. And you really need to get over the learning curve of the game, because you need to constantly be moving. It's not like a regular third-person shooter where you take cover and it's just like you shoot from cover. You actually need to keep moving, use telekinesis, other supernatural abilities that you get as you progress through the game, whilst combining them with the weapon that you have, which takes on the form of like an assault rifle, but it's a pistol. Like, it takes on the form of like automatic, a shotgun, kind of like a railgun version, a grenade launcher. It has all these different modes that it can swap into, and then you can mod the character. Like, she can have certain things that just boost her abilities, such as her health, or you can have more like charge, which is what powers your supernatural abilities, which is interesting. I found that they weren't extremely useful. I think you could go the whole game without modding either your weapon or the character herself. But they were just a nice little add-on that was fun to use in the game. I touched before on the bosses. The bosses are very interesting, and they come through these things called altered items, which are items that are, they have like a supernatural thing going on with them. And in some of these altered items are bosses, and the bosses are fun. Some of them have very, very easy, like, little things you can do that just end the boss fight in a quick 5-10 minutes. But the boss fights are still fun, and they're brain teasers almost, because once you need to figure out the little trick to each boss in a way. And I found that fun to just do. The combat, like I said, it's fun. It never really gets boring. It's always changing up a bit. There's always new enemy archetypes being added. And the story itself, you actually kind of need to do every pickup item to figure out the story of Control. Or at least the lore, I guess, because you need to read all the pickups that you find. A lot of things are quote-unquote classified, but as the director, you need to, the newly appointed director of this bureau, which I won't get into how that happens. It's a very confusing thing, but once you kind of get around it, it's easy to figure out how the world works, I should say. But, like, the story itself is very interesting. You kind of learn everything through these pickup items. They're placed everywhere. They're really easy to find. I wouldn't say they were too hard to, find myself. And I'm not usually a completionist, but I found, I think, nearly 80% of them just through playing the game. And then I went through and found the rest. So learning about the lore of this world is interesting, especially to me. It really goes on along with this supernatural elements that are kind of mysterious and classified, and you slowly learn about them as the game progresses. However, I will say there was some pacing issues. The story kicks off very quickly, like you are thrown right into the action within the first 5 minutes. There's not really a tutorial, nothing like that kind of eases you into this world. You were just chucked into it. And I found that is a little annoying, and it's what made it kind of confusing to follow the story itself. The director of the bureau kills himself, and this weapon that you use throughout the game is kind of what points to your director, I guess. And only certain people can be director, and blah blah blah. There's a lot of lore revolving around who can be director and who can't be. And then there's even more further backstory as to why you are the director and what makes you special, and all this other crazy shit that just happens that it's amazing to learn about and to figure out. But it can be challenging to follow at times, and it's frustrating. And I really wish they told this story just a little bit slower and eased into everything. Just that, taking the first half an hour maybe, 20 minutes, instead of the first 10, and just going, there you go, you're in the game now. You're in the combat, just go. Which can work for fast-paced games like this, but I found for a game with such a complex, interwoven, this very in-depth, intriguing, complex story, it doesn't quite work. That's the biggest thing I have to say about the game, is that is frustrating. But everything else I would say is amazing. I'm excited for the DLC that is to come for the game. I'm very looking forward to what else Remedy have to do. This game has sold me on Remedy. I love the first two Max Payne games, they're classics. But I never played Quantum Break, and I haven't played Alan Wake, but I'm going to play both of them as soon as I can. I know Quantum Break's in a weird little copyright, there's all this shit going on with Microsoft, so I don't know if Quantum Break's going to be thrown into this Control world like Alan Wake is, but it's interesting, and I've been sold on Remedy games because of Control. And if you've never really played a Remedy game, I really recommend playing this game. It's easily by far the best game I've played of 2019. Nothing has really come this close to this game this year. It's the closest thing we've gotten to a great game, or something that's on the level of, or somewhat close to the level of God of War, Red Dead Redemption, Horizon Zero Dawn. I'd say this is probably this year's Horizon Zero Dawn, as in the way that it's very underrated, and I think it's going to be a big hit later next year, and when people start to pick up on this game. But that's really all I have to say on the game. Definitely just go fucking play it. If you're into crazy, kind of weird stories, and you like a bit of a thrill, I guess, because this game does have some really creepy elements in it that I was not expecting, fucking picked up this game. It's worth the $60. Just go buy it. You'll have a fun time, and it's quick. It's only 20 hours, so if you're on a tight schedule, you have time to play it, and you can get it finished as quick as you can. Unlike something like Days Gone or, you know, whatever else there is that takes fucking forever. Red Dead Redemption 2. But yeah, definitely go pick up this game. Make sure you fucking subscribe to the YouTube channel. You hit the like button on this video, it would mean a lot. This game was fucking awesome to play. I'm so excited to be talking about it now. I had all these things flying around in my head that I just need to get out in the last week or so. And make sure you go check out our Twitch in the description. If you go check out our website, there's a Skate 3 review up there. I read it. It's fucking really well written. I recommend going and reading it. It's great. There's an article about Control up on there as well. You can go read about how they're trying to fix this constant performance issue that's going on in the game. You will see that in the gameplay in the background. I do apologize for that. But the game's having issues with it not working greatly on the PlayStation and Xbox, the regular versions. But I think that's just because it's such a big game that's got a lot of elements going on and it looks amazing. Make sure you go check out our Twitter. You go check out my Twitch in the description where I stream games with my friend. Always a fun time. And I will see you guys next week for another video. I'm not sure what on. I think I might do an LA Noire retrospective next week. But other than that, I will see you guys next week. Most likely for that video. Bye.